Hello, hello. Come on in the room. We are going to have a juicy conversation tonight. This is our second episode of Well and Cultured, our conversation series with flavor makers, chefs, artisans, historians, anybody who loves the idea that flavor can connect cultures and can really just bring us together on different levels. So join us if you're catching the replay. Don't be shy. Drop in the comments where you're viewing from. But let's give people a chance to get on in here. What's that, Ethiopian? I can't do it. I can't do it. That's too funny. And so I'm just listening to some Ethiopian music in the background. An artist named, I think, Demera Mak. I'm not sure. But, you know, I love just seeing the shoulders go. I can't even do it. If I were more coordinated, maybe. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. We're just giving a moment for people to come on in so no one will miss out on this juicy conversation that we're going to have tonight with Tigist Reda of Demera Ethiopian Restaurant in Chicago. So come on in. And please don't be shy. Drop in the comments where you're tuning in from, where you be, where you at. Can you all hear the music playing in the background? All right. Yes. Talk to me. Talk to me. I did. It's okay. All right. Come on, come on. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. We are waiting just a few minutes to give people a chance to log on to join this delicious conversation. Tonight is episode 2 of our Well and Cultured conversation series, and we're going to be having a dialogue tonight with Tigist Reda, I think that's the way I pronounce her last name, of Demera Ethiopian Restaurant here in Chicago. And please drop in the comments where you're tuning in from. Can you all hear the music playing in the background? Uh-oh, why not? It's giving me a notice saying that Demera is unable to join. Oh no. Let me see if this will work. Dun, 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 dun. I am not the most technologically savvy, but we are working it out tonight. All right. So for those of you who missed last week's Well and Cultured conversation series, it was the first episode of the series. We had a wonderful time in conversation with Alexandra Antoine. She is an interdisciplinary artist, a farmer, a chef, a food explorer. And if you missed that conversation, go in the archives right here on our profile on Instagram and make sure you listen to that interview. And tonight, we're going to be joined by Tigist Reda of Demera Ethiopian Restaurant. And hopefully, if my technologically special self, thank you for joining us, Peggy at Wellness with Peggy. Listen, Wellness with Peggy has some great daily content around mindset, around health, and all of those things. So I would encourage you. And as a matter of fact, this is so serendipitous because I'm sorry, I get excited. I actually met Peggy at Demera Restaurant. Do you remember that, Peggy? Yes. So I'm trying to get them on, but I'm having a bit of a difficult time. So, Elsa, thank you for joining us tonight. We're letting people pile into the room so we can have a delicious conversation. And let me let you all know, Elsa, she runs like all the farmers markets on the north side. And anytime we would do the farmers market anytime Irby Pop would do the farmers market up north, we would always go to Demera for lunch right before the farmers market. And so I'm just loving the serendipity on this episode tonight. So come on in the room and please drop in the comments, what city are you tuning in from around this world? And I would love to see Well&Cultured have a global reach. So please, if you think somebody is just interested in hearing about flavor and food and cultures and wellness practices around the diaspora, feel free to tag them right now or message them and tell them to tune in with us tonight. All right. Give me a minute. All right. Okay, so we're just waiting. While we're waiting, I might as well tell you a few stories about my interactions. I would say my first real up and close interaction with the culture of Ethiopia. Now, follow me. When I was a much younger woman. I'm not going to even tell you how long ago. Hello, hello. Demera is in the house. I will be bringing you on shortly. I'm just going to tell a quick story to open up this Well&Cultured conversation this evening about when I really first tasted the flavor of Ethiopia and when I first had interaction with real live beings, not on television, not through books, with someone from Ethiopia. Now follow me because I was not in Ethiopia at the time. I was actually in Kenya. And I was living in Kenya, and believe it or not, in the small village that was nearest the village that I lived in. I lived way out in the bush, and it took about 45 minutes to get to the nearest town. And it was a town called Nanyuki in Kenya. And I'm telling you, most of the hairdressers, the salons, the bakeries, the little cook shops on the road, these things were run by Ethiopian women. And that kind of surprised me because I was like, aren't we in Kenya? But those were run by the Ethiopian women, and they were so beautiful. The food was so delicious, and these women were bosses, okay? It was really the first time that I had seen a more, how can I say, fiery disposition in business outside of the U.S. And it was something that I identified with. They were very sure. They were very just lovely. But I remember what I first tasted was something called bajia. And it's like a potato that's battered with, I don't even know what herbs right now, and deep fried. And so that was delicious. So that was my first introduction to the flavor of Ethiopia. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Tigist on to join me, and we're going to get into a delicious conversation. All right. Okay, I hope I did that right. If so, she'll be popping on. And I want to thank everybody. Hello, hello. Tigist, how are you? Oh, you're looking all beautiful tonight. Please tell me you didn't get all dressed up for me.
I have to. Thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing a volume check. You all let me know. Can you hear me okay? Am I too loud? Am I not loud enough?
You're good with me. Yeah.
Okay, volume is good.
Yeah.
Everybody joining us, please tell us where you are viewing from around the globe. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Well and Cultured Conversation series. And as you can see, we have the beautiful Tigist. Pronounce your last name for me.
Rada. Rada.
Rada.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like Reda, Rita. I don't know.
Got it.
Tigist Reda, owner of Demera Ethiopian Restaurant right in Chicago. And so I don't want to waste any time. I have like all these questions in my head. And so, Tigist, I need you to know something. I'm very curious and I just ask all the things, right? But if there's ever a question that I'm asking you and you're like, I don't want to answer that, just be like, pass, or I'm not sure that. I'm not eating that. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no. So
That's what. Okay.
you have full liberty to decline any question. So Tigist, first of all, just tell us, we all know, well, I think we all know at this point that you are from Ethiopia, but
Yeah.
I would like for you to just really give us more insight into your life growing up there, how old you were, what it was like being at home and eating at home on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am from the northern region of Ethiopia, Tigray. I was born there, and then we moved to Addis, and the capital. We lived a few years, and then we went back. And then I came here when I was 17.
Ooh.
So yeah, I am number 7 from 11 children. So 23 grandchildren. So it's a big family. Yeah, it's a big family, and so like cooking and eating was a big part of the family as well. So what can I say? Like the first 14 years, I was here by myself, but eventually, my sister joined, my cousin joined. Now I have a brother, two sisters, and cousins. So our family here is growing too.
Okay.
Yeah, but to go back to living in Ethiopia, I think in Mekelle, where was born and raised, was like, cooking was, you never went out. Like cooking was part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's everyday big batch of what sauces we make vegetarian. If it's like we had a lot of Lents because
Okay.
of our religion, like 250 something days. Wednesday and Friday is vegan. And then we have what we call tzom, which is lunch that we eat a lot of vegan food. That's why we have a lot of vegan in the restaurant. But injera was almost made every day in our house since even though my parents had 11 kids, we also had cousins, aunts, and stuff that lived with us. So it was almost 23 people living in one house. So it's almost running a restaurant. I know, so it's a lot of cooking from scratch. So that's where it comes
But,
from,
but
entertaining, cooking. Yeah, yeah.
I love that so much. Like already, like my notes are getting thrown out the window. Okay, let's talk about something. It was 11 of you all, born of your mother and father.
Yeah.
You got me beat. You got me beat. I'm one of 8. I'm
Wow.
number 2 of 8. And
Yeah.
I myself have 6,
Yeah.
right? And so I love big family, but
It's
here,
fun.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
But growing my own family here, once we passed 4 children, people were like, what? You have so many
Yeah.
children. Like, how do you feed all of them? Oh my God, how do you have time for anything? But it's almost like that community. That's first community. I have 1 sister and 6 brothers. That was my first community. And being at home and cooking, first of all, with that many children, restaurants are few and far between because that tab
Yeah.
is high.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of cooking, bonding over, certain dishes. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm okay now cooking, but I was no cook back then, right? And so I just love the fact that you said about 23 people in the house at one time. That sense of community and communion around food was present naturally from your earliest years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let me ask you this, was your dream to become a restaurant owner?
It kind of just happened. As I said, I used to love entertaining. Like we used to have over 40 people, um, over 40 people in Christmas parties. I used to cook a lot, entertain. And then just the idea came, hey, why don't we open a restaurant at that time? My husband, I'm like, restaurant? I never thought about restaurant. And then 6 months later, we were open.
Wow.
Yeah, I love to cook. I love to entertain. So it was like no brainer for me. Let's do it. And I was also going to school, trying to do mortgage, this and that to change life.
Yes.
This can be together. Like I can have a better living and I can do what I love to do. So they just came together.
I mean, how sweet is that? Look, I'm looking at plant-based Tamika. Tamika said, my mama had 5 of us and we rarely went out to eat. And Tamika, we know your love of food over here. We see your videos from going to Demera to other places and how you're all in it, making us wish we had that good food. Plant-based, that is.
Yeah.
But because it was just a natural no-brainer, your love of cooking and making money, having a better life, and it was able to come together, I can identify with that. I used to feel so selfish, like actually doing what I love and making money and having a good time all at the same time, while other people are like, I hate my job. I do it because I have to live. I'm glad that you're having that experience.
Yeah.
But know that business is not always easy,
No.
right?
But I love it. I love what I do. Like,
Good. I want to ask you this. And if you are watching this Well&Cultured conversation series and you have a question or a comment for Tigist and or I, please drop it in the comment section and we will definitely get to it. But this is the question I want to ask you. Tigist, what is the craziest thing you have ever done for your business? Whether that was to get it open, to keep it going, to pivot, whatever. What is the craziest thing you've done?
I don't know which one is more crazy, but when we opened with everything we had, like our house, we drove everything. Our cars were like we had to put them as a signing when we
Yeah.
did a business loan. We were like 70,000 credit card, but 35,000 friends and family loan.
Oh, yes. So what I'm hearing is, to me, you are all in.
Yeah, we were 100% and some.
You you are in. You were like, hey, if this doesn't work out, we'll be homeless and carless. But hey,
Yeah, that's it. We're bankrupt. That's all right. I think we just deep down we knew it's gonna work. Like we were
yeah,
gonna get everything we had. It was just no doubt. I remember we used to go for score, um, counseling. He's like, I've told you, like, what do you think? He's like, I've told you so many scary stories. He's still coming back. So you're like, you're gonna open it. So yeah, we were 100% sure that it was going to work out. So, yeah, that must be the craziest. And during COVID, we were pivoting. we start, we joined this carry out system that you have to actually take your car in and then kind of give food to people. But we did one in Oak Park, 120 people signed up.
wow.
Yeah, and then there were like huge traffic jam. A police came. Then we had to explain ourselves like what we're actually doing.
Yes, causing trouble on the street for good food.
Yeah, like that. And we're actually delivering food, so it was nice, but it was just intense for 3 hours with all the traffic jam. So yeah.
Can I tell you, I know I saw when you guys were doing that, and you all even popped up in Bronzeville
Yeah.
a couple times. And then since Bronzeville, you all have popped up in Hyde Park. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm a South Side girl. Irby Pop is born and raised on the South Side. However, there is no Ethiopian food on the South Side. So I would be so excited to see you all delivering out, in Boxville or being further in Hyde Park. It was so exciting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We did, of course, Baxville, and then we did at the Art Center, and then we did at the Promontory. But we are looking actually for permanent residents somewhere in the South Side, between South Loop to, I don't know, South Shore, in that area. Like it could be Bronzeville, it could be Hyde Park, or like anywhere in that area. So, but we are looking forward, yeah.
That would be amazing. That look, the whole if anybody here is on the South Side, living on the South Side, just like send up a collective prayer that the mayor comes on down because those flavors are so delicious.
Thank
Now,
you.
let me ask you this. You've been open for what, 12, 13 years?
14. We're gonna be 15 in November, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Almost 15 in November.
Yeah.
I almost sure that from the time that you first said, let me give Chicago Ethiopian flavor and food, till now, that the clientele and the receptivity, perhaps, for the Ethiopian food has changed. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So I think in the beginning, it was people from our culture or like college students, very young, just wanted to explore. Now it's like the entire Chicago. It's from South. We have huge. That's why we want to open up the South Side and doing a lot of pop-ups. We have a lot of people coming from the South Side.
Yes.
We have Asians. We have the age difference is amazing. It used to be only young people. Now it's all ages, like retired people. If you saw anyone that was in a retiring age, it's because before it was because their kids brought them.
Oh, okay.
Now it's like themselves. They're making reservations. So it's like, it's just very diverse. If you come on a Saturday or Friday night, and I love that. The dining room is very diverse.
Yes, yeah, I love that too. And I was on your like Instagram, LinkedIn pages or whatever, and I saw a post that said, food connects us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is literally, that's how we feel here at Herbie Pop. We feel like flavor connects the world. And so to be able to offer up something that is so personal to you as your native cuisine in your living room, and to be able to see people from all walks of life, all ages, that's love. That's love right there.
That's just like, it's a joy. Like, yeah, to engage with people. And for the reason they come, it could be meeting up with friends, it's office, or it's birthday, or it's graduation. So it's been really, really amazing to see that. It's just the diversity of the clients, and then just the reason they're coming for it. It's been amazing, yeah.
Okay, great. Do you have a favorite dish that is on menu at Demera?
Favorite. All of them are my favorite on different days. I love the biryani. I do. I'm not a vegetarian or vegan, but I think the biryani has a little bit of everything. It's 9 days of the vegan.
Yes.
Together, so they have different flavor. I love that. And then,
I'm hearing some feedback. You're brushing against your mic.
Maybe. How about now?
That's better.
Yeah, the biryani is like right. I can eat it any day. Can you hear me better?
Okay, now that's better right there.
Okay. Yeah, so the biryani too, my favorite. And then from meat is, I would say, I like tips, the sautés, like tips or something. Yeah.
So let me tell you all, this is our truth here at Herbie Pop. Whenever we go to Demera, we have to start out with the spinach and the lentil sambusas, right?
Yeah.
Those are so delicious. And my personal favorite is the spinach. And then we go to the platter with all the vegan goods, all the vegan bites on there. But my absolute favorite is shiro wat.
Really? That's amazing. I love it. Like, that's the food, like, as a kid you grow up with, where a lot of customers are not as comfortable as with the, like, greens or the yellow split pea. The shiro is like, it takes a couple tries for people to like it, but I love that. Shiro is your favorite, yeah.
Shiro wat is my favorite. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, Tigist, but remember we had a conversation. I was like, oh, I want to make an Ethiopian flavor for Herbie Pop. And I am telling you, what do you think about this? This is just between me and you. They're just listening in. What if I was able to recreate the flavor of shiro wat on popcorn? Would that be good?
That'd be amazing. I think shiro and popcorn would go together, really.
Yes. And then we'll call it shiro pops. How about that?
Yeah. No, the flavors of shiro would be good. Like, sometimes, yeah, definitely. I can see
You
that.
know, that would be excellent. So, listen, if you are in the Chicagoland area and you have not been to Demera yet, or it's been a long time since you've been to Demera, you need to go. Tell them Irby Pop sent you. Have your food, and oh my goodness, we tasted, what is it? The cream silk pie? What is
The
that?
almond pie, the vegan chocolate almond pie. Yeah, that was
It
good.
is so rich.
Yeah.
It is just the perfect amount of sweetness. If love could come on a little plate, it is that dessert. It is that dessert. It is so good.
Yeah, it's for vegans. Vegans
Yeah,
need to.
and that's another thing I appreciated. It was like sometimes you go places that are not completely plant-based and they have a small menu for you, but they often forget the dessert. And
Mhm.
you all remembered. And so it made us feel so special,
Yeah,
right?
you got to remember the dessert.
Yeah, I remember that. And then another thing that I noticed about Demera is you all make authentic injera. Well, you
Mhm.
have two versions. You have the one that's made a little bit with some of the flour, gluten.
Yeah,
And then on the menu, it says gluten free. And I just wish it would say authentic injera. And that's our favorite.
yeah.
And it's so good that sometimes my daughters just say, Mommy, can we just go there and buy injera and bring it home? And I'm like, that's a long way to travel just for some injera, but okay. So,
We'll come close to you. We'll come close to you.
yeah. So what made you carry both versions of injera?
I think like first the teff when we started being here you couldn't make it because like the ones we bring like you can't bring teff from Ethiopia because like it has to stay for people there. They don't
Mhm.
want to import it, which is fair. Like it
Yeah.
has to be enough for people there before you can take it out. So we use the ones that grow in the US, and the ones that grow in the US they were not coming out good in the beginning because the soil is not used to the tough grain. So um, like it just had like some dust tasty to it. Now it's getting better. That's why it's
Okay.
coming. So we had to mix it with wheat to make it work.
Hmm.
Uh, but not and then the gluten. But and then there was a request for gluten free, and then once we did the gluten free, it became more and more requests for gluten free as a lot more people became gluten intolerant or found out that they're gluten intolerant or they don't or some people just don't prefer to eat gluten at all. So that when it became okay, we're having two type of injera. We call it
Okay.
rice, but it's just
That
American rice.
makes.
Yeah, we have the wheat and the teff mixture, and then we
Mhm.
have the teff alone. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
listen, we have a question coming in, which I think is a fabulous question. But before we get to that question, my sister-in-law is from Addis Ababa. She's Ethiopian. And she makes the best food too. She makes the best food. But let me tell you what happened to me when she first came over. When she first came over, she barely spoke English, but she was spoke just enough to tell me I needed to participate in the coffee ceremony. Is it called
Mm.
Buna?
Bunna. Yeah,
Buna. I
yeah.
needed to participate in the coffee ceremony. Now, something you must know about me, Tigist. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink alcohol. I barely drink juice unless it's fresh pressed. I had only been mainly drinking water and maybe veggie juices for years. And
Mm.
then she was like, oh no, but you must do, you must do. And I could not deny her. You know, I couldn't say no to this. I mean, we're just meeting, families merging together.
Yeah.
So we sit down and it's like about 12, maybe 12 little
Cup.
Demeter cups. And she roasted the coffee, you know, in the special little pot on the stove. And she started pouring up, adding that sugar to all the little different cups.
Yeah.
I take a sip.
Did you add popcorn in there?
Yeah, she did. She had the little small white
Yeah.
popcorn kernels.
Yeah.
And so I take a sip, and my first sip, I'm like, whoo, it's strong. It's
Yeah.
strong. And so I'm sipping, and then it's all the ladies. It was more Ethiopian ladies there.
Yeah.
And so at first I sip and I'm like, oh, this is strong, but it was good. And then I sip some more. And before you know it, I'm trying to do my shoulders like everybody else. And let me tell you something. I could not sleep for almost 2 days. That coffee was so strong that I felt like I could build a house and tear it down again.
Yeah, our coffee is so strong, but I guess you're not like I love it. Like we drink it sometimes once or twice a day, but it
Yeah.
is like coffee is just it's when you invite your friends or your neighbors. It's almost like some sort of therapeutic in a way. Like when
Yes.
you're having a bad day, like or like our mothers made it once minimum, if it's not twice a day. Is
Mhm.
like morning, like after they send the kids to school and stuff, they have coffee. Then
And
they come and they drink together. They talk about their day. How are you? Like that. That's the whole point of coffee is just sit down. Like it's everything we do is communal. Like the way
yeah.
we communal, the coffee is communal. Like over here, we do it every Sunday. Now my sister-in-law is here. She makes it every day, but we were doing it every Sunday. It's like we talk when we have coffee. So that's the whole point of the coffee. Yeah.
That's why I couldn't deny her. I could see it was ceremonious. I could see it was all about bringing the women, especially in that setting, together. And I was able to see, this was the first time I really sat down and communed with Ethiopian women up close and personal. And it went from me not understanding, because many of them didn't speak English really well at that time, but it was something just in that being together and sipping this that we were able to smile and laugh and
Yeah.
understand one another. And it was such a beautiful, dare I say, healing
Yeah.
experience in that two separate cultures were
Mm-hmm.
coming together without even language,
Yeah.
and that was the beauty of sharing the Buna with
Yeah.
that time. Now,
Yeah.
the question that's coming in is, what advice would you give to a young adult who is starting a business being told by family education is the only way you will succeed? What would you say to that?
I'm a big believer of education.
Hmm.
We should all do it. And like for me, is I never stop learning. Doesn't
Yes.
have formal education could be self. I'm involved in a lot of things that develop me, grow me all the time. But believe in yourself. We've heard it many times. But I think small business is as educational as any field. Like, you learn so much about yourself, so much about the work. You
Hmm.
grow so much more actually because you're like, as you say, business is not easy. There is so much challenge that it's actually stretches you and
Hmm.
make you a better leader, a better listener, a better everything,
Hmm.
community member. So,
Yes.
like, to say that business doesn't teach you anything is actually the opposite. It teaches you a lot, a lot
Yeah.
about skills. So, and what I want to say here is surround yourself with support because a
Yes.
few years could be tough. So, have a mentor if possible in the business you are in.
Hmm.
Reach out to women groups that are in your field. I don't know, men or women that were talking about, but I think have as much. One thing I learned is I'm getting more support right now, but like this is when you're starting, you're like doing it all by yourself.
Yeah.
You're getting up in the morning, you're doing this, you're doing that. You forget that needing the support or having the support circle is so, so important. So if I learned anything, or I wished I did differently, is getting a mentor, support, anything that can support you mentally as
Hmm.
well as just technical things like how do you accounting, because I was passionate about cooking and entertaining, but I didn't know about accounting or the license needs or like what I needed to prepare myself to. So like having mentors in those area as
Hmm.
well as taking care of your mental health. Like
Oh,
just have something to take care of your health because you're gonna grow, you're gonna get stretched, but there's also a lot of stress. So you have to have something to take care of your mental health.
yes.
Like for different people, it works differently. Is it prayer? Is it yoga? Is it meditating? Is it just a call with a friend to
Yes.
just say, this is what my day looks like or my week, once a week, once a day. So that I would stress.
Yeah. And look at you sliding right into that wellness component.
Yeah.
because it is so important just in this life, but especially if you're going to tackle being a business owner, our wellness
Mhm.
is so important. And this is the way I look at it. People who enter into entrepreneurship or people who are producing great products for society, we are like the depositors of great light. And
Mhm.
if we don't take care of ourselves, that light is dimmed or snuffed out. And it's the world and our community who suffers because we didn't dare take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And tell me, Tigist, what is some of your favorite wellness practices? What are some things that you do to really make sure you're taking care of yourself?
I work out like 3 times. I try to do that on my own. It's just like I have a busy schedule that goes off. So I actually just said, okay, I'm gonna invest in myself, hire a trainer. So I do 3 hours, 3 times a week, half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I have a mental health calls on Tuesdays, like because of what were happening at home, and you supported us with our gala for women. With
Yes.
that and running a business and having families could get really stressful. So every Tuesday, I actually have an hour and have mental health call just to
Yes.
see what's your week like, how
Yes.
was your, what are you putting in place to take care of your well-being. That's
Yes.
all we talk about on Tuesday nights. And I love to do yoga when I could do it. Those are my wellness. Yeah, yeah.
This is wonderful because I especially love you sharing the fact that you have a weekly mental health call just to check in and say, hey, what's going on? You, as a businesswoman, sometimes we have to present as so strong and we can do everything when no, we're impacted by the world. We have feelings. Sometimes our husbands or our significant others get on our nerves. Our
Yeah,
children are making crazy decisions, and all of this impacts the way that we show up, yet we have to still make sure that business goes,
yeah,
right? And so to be able to just have like this dedicated hourly time once a
yeah,
week for
yeah,
to hear our thoughts and for us to be able to express ourselves without judgment, it
yeah.
is so powerful, so
Yeah.
powerful.
Like it started actually like I always did some sort of mental health. Like I always did some sort of self-development, but I started it regularly. Unfortunately, there is a civil war in our country. It just became
Yeah,
too much, like to even just do daily things. So I was like, okay, we're gonna lose our mind. So we started actually for serve people. We do that on Saturday mornings. We have mental health calls on Saturday morning, my friend and
hmm,
I host for
yeah.
people that are going through this. And then we met people actually that are in other profession that are doing this mental health support for each other. So we joined, and it's been life saving. Like,
That, now I heard you mention the war in Tigray.
yeah,
And I want to say it was Irby Pop's pleasure and privilege to
thank
be
you.
donate a little popcorn,
Yeah,
so that some funds could be raised to help the women back in Tigray. If you
yeah,
would just take a moment for the audience members who have no clue what's been going on in
yeah.
Ethiopia concerning this, can you tell us what happened and what the current status is?
Yeah, Tigray is still under siege. Like there is no communication. Like I haven't talked to my mom in 7 months. No banks are open. No telephone. Nothing. Everything is closed. No humanitarian access. No media access. So it's just unfortunate. Like where we go through this cycle of war every 20, 30 years. That we do the I don't know, whenever government change there is a war. Like that has been our cycle. It's unfortunate, but this time what made it worse was like women being victimized. Gender-based violence was like one of the ways of punishing that community.
Wow.
So yeah, so during the summer we fundraise for mental health. Actually, it just opened, a clinic is open now from that fundraising. Yeah, in Sudan, where Tigray people took refuge and when the war broke out. So we're opening that in April. So we were fundraising. We did a gala. It was amazing, and you guys donated. Thank you. But that's what's happening. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, the least, right? But let me tell you, it was partly because of Demera's openness and fundraising gala that I was so tuned in to what was happening, not even because of my sister-in-law, because of you, the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Not being afraid to take a stand for the women over there. And look how you've impacted the world. The clinic that is so needed is opening up. And so if you're listening to this live, even if you're catching the replay, if ever a reason to go sit down and eat at Demera or to order it for takeout, this is the kind of person that is running, owning, and operating, bringing like healing through bringing a clinic, a real clinic, to over in Sudan for the women and for the families that fled there from Tigray. Yeah. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Yeah.
That work and just being involved on that level. And my heart also just goes out to you for the uncertainty, you know, for the lack of communication, for the, you know, just not knowing that you're still currently in while you're still showing up, being the best version of yourself. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we let you go, tell us, what is your ultimate vision? Where do you see, or how do you see Demera growing, and what would you like its impact to be in this earth?
So I don't want to step over a question one of your guests. It says, what about conflicts it creates between you and a family member?
Yes.
So I'll answer that.
Please.
I think what I want to tell, I didn't get the name, but I think first of all is to understand your family is coming from love and care for you. They, in their mind, education is the only way to do it. Because I stopped college to do the restaurant. So just understand that. So explain to them from love. And like, you know, there's people you explain to when you think they're not believing you, or they're like saying this doesn't work. And then there are people, you know, that they care and love you. So they're just saying education is the best way for you. Just come from the understanding of they love and care for you, and they think education is the best thing for you. That just explain to them your vision from that space. Some will buy into it, some won't. Like, but you can only manage what is you can manage, but it's from what space you come from. Like, you know, just love and understanding for them, and then just explain your vision.
Yes.
And then hopefully they get it, and some might get it later on. But I think it will help you from mental space wise. They're coming from love and care, not like, you know, not believing in you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Tigist. And I totally agree. Sometimes our family and even our closest friends, they love us, but they also may have just the way they see things or their limited scope of what is possible. And oftentimes, out of love and protection, they're projecting that upon us. And I'm telling you all, I just stopped being crazy in a lot of my family's eyes, maybe 2 years ago, right? Because many of you know the story of Irby Pop. It was born out of medical missionary work. And let me tell you what that looks like. That looks like I already had a master's degree. I already had, you know, all this education. And I said, I'm not using that. I'm going to go serve Jesus, and I'm going to serve the world through teaching people how to overcome health. My family was like, what? Girl, are you crazy? Are you in some cult? Are you smoking something? Like, what is going on? And believe it or not, I understood it was from love. And so it didn't make me want to push away. But what I did have to do was stand strong in my conviction and in my passion, and be consistent. And through me doing that for myself, it kept the communication pathway open. So if they wanted to come and talk to me, or if I wanted to share something with them, I could. And now they think I'm a shiro.
Right.
And I'm you too, Tigist. Now, at first, when you dropping out of college, they were like, no, ma'am, like, what are you doing? But
yeah,
she's the woman. You know?
So yeah, just I don't want to step over that. What's our plan for Demera is to open more locations. I think we've been in business almost 15 years. We feel confidence
Mhm.
that we can manage more. So opening, hopefully in the Chicago area, at least four, like in the South Side, West Side, yeah, and then go national. Yeah, that's what we want to do.
I absolutely love that. Speaking of going national and or international, we know you love your home cuisine, Ethiopian cuisine, but are there any other cuisines that you love or any other flavor profiles that you really enjoy?
I love Asian food. The lightness, the flavorfulness. Yeah, I mean I love all foods. Like it just like I dine everywhere. I
Hmm.
do love Asian food. Any like also like when you eat any other that's it could be I don't know Ghanaian, Kenyan, or South African. Like the flavors, like you can recognize them. Like
Yes.
people come to the restaurant, they say it's new, but it's not new. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's recognizable. So there is that. And then like to me, Asian food is I have a Vietnamese friend and Thai food.
Hmm.
It's like Thai has a little bit of spiciness, so it has a similarity, but some Asian food is completely different. Uh, like taste profile, but it's really good. So I love Asian
Yeah.
food.
And I love that. And I love to ask that question because,
Yeah.
once again, not just from your own perspective of, I want everybody to come eat Ethiopian food, but
Yeah.
you also love food from other cultures, like the Asian food and just all the cultures. But in my household, my children love Thai, they
Yeah.
love Ethiopian, and they love Indian.
Yeah, like say Indian
Yeah,
food really good. It's, like when I eat Indian food, I can see the spice similarity. Or like when I go to Yasa, like I
yeah.
can, there's something similarity. So that like I connect with that. But like and then Asian food give me like completely different food. Yeah. So I love that.
It, isn't it amazing how in this earth there are herbs and different spices that can be found all around the globe, maybe by a different name,
Yeah.
you- but they can find their way into different cuisines, just kind of remixed in slightly different ways. They give a whole new flavor profile.
Yeah, definitely.
That just blows my mind and it
Yeah.
excites me because we're all about living in full flavor
You
over
know?
here. So,
Um,
if there was any herb, any single herb on this earth, and you could only choose one for the rest of your life, Tigist, what herb could you not live without?
that's a tough one. Oh. I love them all. I don't know. I can't find it often, maybe because I miss it. We have this called enadam. We call it. I don't know what the name of in English it is, but it's like really. It has little seeds and then it has leaves. I found the plant one day. I can't remember the name of it in English, but you can put it in anywhere. Like when you make it if you drop it, it tastes good. You can put it on coffee. It
Mm,
tastes when you're making cheese, I have cheese, you put it in, it tastes good. So
you know the name.
I'll find it and send it to you.
What do you call it in your tongue?
Ena Adam.
Aina Adam. Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ena.
it's going to make me look that up. I'm like, oh, what is it? Because it sounds like it can go in savory things and sweet things.
Yeah, it's really good. And coffee, we drink coffee with it. Yeah. So
Oh,
that's like right out of.
I'm like, here's a pen. I'm taking notes.
Yeah, I'll Google it. I found the plant one day and we put it in our patio, like at the restaurant. We enjoyed it the whole summer, but after that I couldn't find the plant again. But I love that. Enadam is my favorite.
Aina Adam. Oh, thank you so much. You just learned me something.
Good.
And that's why I love having these conversations
Yeah.
because through us just taking the time to talk, learn a little bit about each other, about our cultures, about foods and flavors, it can draw us closer and it can show us that we're more similar than we are different. And
Yeah.
absolutely love that. I absolutely love it. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the second edition of our Well and Cultured series. And Tigis, can I say this to you? You this is really important for me to say. Have you ever been somewhere and someone may be an owner of something, or they're at the top of it and they have this air about themselves that's unapproachable? I hate that.
Me too.
I,
Like you shouldn't, yeah, like yeah, or cocky servers. I'm like, there's no reason for
exactly.
service. We don't need to be cocky. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. And I want to say you were so approachable and so open and so down to earth from the moment I met you. It was no air of pretense, no ostentation, no, I'm here and you're there. None of
no,
that. It was like, welcome, come
yeah,
in, enjoy. And
yeah,
I so appreciate that. And I often think that's how I want to be approachable. I want people to be like, oh, that's just Melanie. That's just crazy Melanie doing her thing, you know?
yeah.
And so,
Now,
uh,
especially with service, like you have to be a server in service of people, and you have to want that, and like that has to light you up.
yes,
People being happy or enjoying their meal or their celebration, that has to light you up. If it's not, you're in the wrong business, because it's really, really difficult to run a restaurant if you do not like people and making people happy.
yes,
Yeah, so it's like that has to light you up. Yeah.
yes. I'm like, how are you going to run a business if you don't want to make people happy?
Yeah.
Right. And so before we go, can you tell everyone where they can find Demera and you in these Chicago streets?
So right now we're in Uptown, Broadway and Lawrence, 4801 North Broadway. We do pop-ups in different areas. I'm hoping to do a pop-up in the South Side, hopefully in the summer, and hopefully open up within a year or so. But currently we are located on Broadway and Lawrence in Uptown area.
Yeah. And if they want to connect with you on Instagram, they can
Yeah,
find you where?
at Demera, Chicago. Yeah,
Demera, Chicago, Broadway. I'm putting it in the chat, Broadway and Lawrence.
yeah.
Now, I noticed that when I pull up Demera, the first time, I see two.
The,
Two. Tell us
we
that.
So we had opened up a quick service restaurant in the French market, but since the COVID, it has been put on hold because just no one is in the offices.
Hmm.
But hopefully we'll open up. So it'll be a completely vegan. That's how we want to open it up. Yes. Yeah, but it's a quick service. Like there's a dining room that we share with others, but
Yeah.
that'll be it.
Okay. It just sounded like you said, I love you, Melanie. And I'm like, oh, I love you too. And so that's awesome. So it's on hold right now, but
But,
when the city really opens back up, then it'll be opened back up as well. And it'll be completely, did you all hear that?
yeah,
Completely plant-based at French Market. Thank
yeah,
you. So it would be worth it to follow both accounts so
yeah,
that we stay abreast of what's happening, both at Demera and Uptown on Broadway and Lawrence, and
yeah.
Demera and French Markets. All right. So before we go, do you have any last words of wisdom, anything that you want to share with us before you go?
Love yourself. I think, like, I would just because I'm a mental health coach before I got here, but definitely be kind to yourself, love yourself, because everything comes from there. So that I would say, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
And stick to it, like just whatever you're doing. I mean, I work out it the first time, but just stick to it. Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Like I heard you say, this is year 15 for
yeah,
Demera.
yeah.
This year 10 for Irby Pop. And
Nice.
we are still just figuring it out, but it's a passion, it's a love. It's allowed me to just do all the craziness that I want to do with combining flavors, meeting people, sharing information about health and wellness, right? And
Mhm.
it's taken me just loving myself and loving the journey to get us past all the frustration and sometimes feeling like or being told you should be further along than where you are, or people trying to come in and change, our whole concept of everything. And it's like, no, 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 no. I love myself. I love the journey. I love where I am.
Yeah.
And when you, like Tigist said, love yourself, you are able to love others, like
Yeah.
really and fully. And you can show up in a way that's expansive and
Hmm.
inclusive and
Hmm.
flavorful.
Yeah.
So that's what Tigist and I are telling you to do. We are telling you to love yourself. All right. So
Thank
thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to hang on a little bit longer to see if anybody has any questions, any comments, let me say this. Well&Cultured Conversation series is going to happen every Tuesday. And so if you know a fellow restaurateur, or if
Mhm.
you know an artist, a chef, a flavor maker, a historian, anybody who loves to connect around flavor,
Mhm.
culture, and wellness practices, feel free to either drop their names in the comment below, tag them, or
Okay.
slide into our DMs and share their information, especially if you are the person that I'm talking about. So we want to have as many types of diverse conversations as we can so that we can all just connect.
Yeah, definitely. I
All right.
would anyone I know too as well. Yeah.
Oh, sure, sure, sure. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And I won't keep you any longer. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Same to you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.